The following is a broadcast produced and starring students from the Ohio Media School's Columbus campus and their sports program, Score on Air.
Hi, my name is Candace Allen, and welcome to the On the Clock Roundtable. This is my co-host, Reuben Davis, and our guest, Tenishia Benson with OGBR. Our roundtable will be 20 minutes where we talk all things girls basketball this week. So we're going to get started. Welcome, Tenishia.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
so this is going to be really relaxed.
All right.
So our first question to you is going to be, what is OGBR?
OGBR, we are going into our 24th year. We're a company, we consider ourselves the number one source for girls basketball in the state of Ohio. We help young ladies create the opportunity to play at the next level, all the way from elementary school, all the way through to high school, and then even we have some ladies that want to go into college coaching afterwards. Wow. If they need assistance too, we're there. So we're the middleman between the girls and the college coaches and high school coaches and AAU coaches. So we're right in the middle.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about, in terms of being the middleman, can you expand on how many players and divisions from Division I to Division IV, you do it for everybody? Can you talk a little bit more about that?
We're good. We're good in the, I'd say good about from freshmen to seniors, we're good easy over 500 that are prospects, right? Mm-hmm. Not everyone wants to play at the next level. Mm-hmm. They just enjoy basketball, right? So prospect-wise, we're about 500 or so in between that range. Okay. And then younger ones, you want to build the interest. For girls basketball, unlike men's basketball, this is what I say, girls have to like the game, right? Before we'll commit to it. Like, we don't want to get hit and all that other stuff, right? Without liking it. And once we like the game, we're in. Right. It's a love now. Right. So we got really good numbers in Ohio. Ohio's a basketball state, for sure. Right. Girls basketball all day.
Now, you say elementary. Like how young do you start at?
Oh, we have ones. Listen, we have girls that are committed to the game first, second grade. But where we really start looking at is fourth grade level, right? Because that's when it really becomes a little bit more competitive. They're playing by the rules a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And then it's just not out there to have fun. Mm-hmm. They take it as a craft. So they're in the gym training. Once we get to that level, right, it's a little bit more serious. Okay. A kid at that point, at fourth grade, they've really made a decision, like, I want to do this. This is what I want to do. Right. So that's really fun, the fourth graders.
Does starting that young, does it put any added pressure on a fourth grader?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think both ways. Okay. I think how it's treated. If you got a kid they're into it, let them be into it. Okay. Right? If they're kind of doing it because you want them to do it, or a parent is kind of forcing it, you kind of got to know your kid. Mm-hmm. You got to know your kid. Some kids really do need to be pushed, right, to achieve greatness. And some kids, they just got it. They are locked and loaded. Right. They are ready to go. Right. So yeah, it depends on that kid. Right. But it does create some pressure. I agree with that.
Yeah. Could you explain to us a little bit the relationship between OGBR and AAU?
Yeah.
And how that relationship is changing as the times are changing.
Yeah. So let's go back some years before. Our game has changed so much. When OGBR started, and still to this day, our emphasis was highly on high school basketball programs. Mm-hmm. Because AAU wasn't as popular at the time. Exposure basketball didn't really exist like that, right? So we spent a lot of time and energy in making sure that girls really invested into their programs as well as coaches into the high schools. Correct. Now, it's been a little bit of a shift. Mm-hmm. A lot more recruitment happens during that AAU season with those AAU teams. Mm-hmm. Picking the right AAU team is important, not just for exposure, but for growth. Mm-hmm. Right? Right. You got to know which program you're in and what their purpose is. Some programs are there to build confidence. Mm-hmm. That's great. If your kid needs more confidence, that's a great program. Some programs are for exposure, right? And you got to know the difference between the two. Okay. So OGBR has built a relationship with both our AAU coaches and our high school coaches. Okay. So we have healthy relationships with both. We have to, right? Right. Half the year they're with high school, the other half of the year they're with AAU. Right. So we communicate with everybody.
We talked a little bit about OGBR. Yeah. Do we want to talk about the preseason rankings that you guys released?
Oh, y'all read those?
Yes.
Yeah. Listen, it gets spicy, y'all. Listen, we send them out. It is a fun thing, right? How we do it is we have evaluators, scouters, media, personnel all over our state. And so they know those areas a lot better than, let's say, if I'm in Columbus, right? So we all sit at a table, kind of like this, round table, right? We talk about these teams, right? It get a little tense, it get a little, because one team from Toledo might feel like, hey, my team needs to be number 5 in that. But then Cincinnati's like, hey, you need to consider this team, right? And we kind of go off of last year's record, who they're bringing back, right? There's just quite a few bits of criteria that allows us to make those decisions. Now, have we, kind of seen some things slide off? It does happen.
Well, before we get to that,
it does happen. It happens.
How was the reaction when you released the rankings?
Good and bad. Like, I hate player rankings. I do. Team rankings, I think it's great because, there's some ones that, we're really not that far off, usually, when I'm talking about, like, state contenders, right? Talking about people that will make it to the state tournament. We're not usually that far off, but it does create conversation. Okay. For some teams, it will create a target. For other teams, it will create motivation. It just depends on how your coach delivers that or the team delivers that, right? But we promote all of our programs in the state. But there are some criteria that make teams the top 5. And I think that's fair, right? You gotta have that a little bit. But yeah, we had to cut the comments off.
Can you share a little bit of what goes into the criteria?
Yeah.
At least your top 5.
Top 5, again, last year's record. Who are you bringing back? Are you bringing back? If you lose 5 starting seniors, that's going to be rough.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? That's going to be rough. If you are a team that just has great chemistry, everybody's coming back, that's important. You got to look at that. And then you also got to look at, which is a Bishop Hartley player. Shout her out.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bishop Hartley.
Listen, this player, when we get to it, Journey, this player played well. So it's those type of criteria you're coaching. How do you gel? Are you coachable? And do you have the ingredients to be a state contender at that time? These are preseason. Right. So they will change in January. They will not look the same, I promise. They won't look the same. So, yeah. I seen some stars. I seen some stars. And I seen some teams come out ready to go. Okay. Right? They came out early, ready to go. We have some special players in our state, right? I could name quite a few. You guys want me to name a few?
You can do a little name dropping. We'll take a couple name drops.
Somebody's mom gonna be mad at me, like, you didn't mention my daughter,
no,
right?
We're asking for 5, so we just want to keep it at
Okay. I really enjoyed seeing the freshman D. Alexander from Purcell Marion. Right. It is hard to play at that level as a freshman. Anybody knows that when you're coming in. Coming from 8th grade basketball to 9th grade high school basketball, playing against seniors and juniors. Right. When the lights are on, she's ready. I haven't seen this kid disappoint at all as a freshman. She's top in the nation and deserving, right? Because there's a difference. Yeah. It's deserving. Right. She has earned that. Right. And she continuously impresses not only me, but college coaches and then respectable other programs. Right. Their coaches are saying the same thing, as well as players. I thought she played very, very well. Bishop Hartley came out ready to go out of Columbus, right? They came out ready to go, right? Kiki McElrath, Eloise Brandewie. She's actually a volleyball all-star. She'll be going to Ohio State to play volleyball. Yeah, yeah. She's 18 rebounds the first game. It was unbelievable. She played her tail off. Pick Central looked good out of Columbus. They looked really good. And who's my last?
They had a game last night too.
They did. Yeah, they did good. They have. Their players. They're a young team, but they have experience, right, with their young players because they had to play early. Okay. Right. So if you're a freshman, you had to play early minutes. Yeah. You're a little bit more mature than a freshman that's sitting and learning by watching. Right. So they're young, but they're also experienced. Okay. So they came out ready to go playing really good. Soleil Williams out of Princeton. My little lefty.
She's a junior.
Oh, that lefty can go. You forget she's left-handed.
Yeah.
So when she lets it go, you be like, man, I forgot she was left-handed.
She had like 2 big games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She played solid games both. Wynton Woods look good from Cincinnati. I mean, I could go on. Listen, so many teams came out at Journey with the type of pressure it is to play in front of that many college coaches.
Right.
They play well. Across the board, I felt like Ohio looked really good.
Okay.
We looked good. Whether they won or lost, we looked good. As a state, we looked pretty good.
I do want to mention one player.
Who you got? What did you
KK
want?
Bransford.
Ooh,
I do
one
gotta
of my
mention
favorites.
Notre Dame. They
Yes.
won, if I'm not mistaken, they're going on like 3 championships,
Listen.
2 state championships in 3 years.
Candace, listen, they won when I was in school. I was like, I do not want to see Martin. I don't want to see Emity. Nobody wants to
Right.
see Emity. I'm literally. They are just such a high class program.
Okay.
Do you know it's very hard to be consistent and consistently winning. That is character. That's not luck. That is character.
Right.
And KK Bransford, being who she is, it makes sense why they've won. She's that kid that this summer did a camp for little people
Wow.
for free. She told her family, this is something I want to do. And she shared it. And it was absolutely amazing. She committed to Notre Dame in Indiana. And unlike anything I've ever seen, her commitment, usually a commitment, nowadays kids create videos,
Yep.
right? They got a whole video. They
TikTok,
they got the
everything.
hat, right? They got the sweatshirt. It's a whole production, right?
Right.
This kid decides to drive to Notre Dame while they were in practice. So they're going through practice.
Wow.
She opens up the door and she's like,
I'm home.
I'm here. They freak out.
Right.
It was so classy.
Right.
Because she made her moment about the team.
Right.
It wasn't just about her.
Right.
Now that team will embrace her as if she's one of them without hesitation.
Right.
It was so, like, things like that. She's also Miss Ohio basketball.
Now let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw a question real quick.
Go ahead, I'm ready.
KK Bransford.
Yeah.
D. Alexander.
Yeah.
Player of the year this year. We
I don't know. This
senior
is-
freshman. But
Ooh.
if you saying homegirls the truth, but
She is.
KK is who she is.
Man.
Do we even get a Notre Dame Purcell matchup?
Ooh, do we get that? I don't know. We know we won't see it in state.
Okay.
D1,
Right. And
D3. D3. Yeah, we won't see it in state, but that's good. Because the freshman has some pieces that you won't normally see.
Right.
But KK, she's got that maturity.
Right.
Like, this is my state. If you meet her, you'll feel it.
Right.
You know, you'd be like, wow. She come in the gym and everybody's like, hey, how are you? Hi, how are you? Can I get a picture? Like, she's that one. Like, I asked for a picture. Like,
Wow.
like, can I get a picture with you? Because I know you're special, man. USA Olympian, like.
I was gonna ask, do they come to you more outside of basketball? They ask you some type of questions,
Yeah.
as far as maturing and
Yeah.
Right.
not the next level as far as basketball and possibly like life.
Yeah, no, we do. I'll give an example. So let's say a ranking comes out and it's not what you want it to be.
Okay.
That can completely devastate a kid. Because she's in my state, I can see that. My job is to reach out. And so we can share some personal conversation because I was once that player too. Not too long ago, right? You know, ain't gonna put the year out there.
Couple
Maybe
days
carry
ago.
the one. You know. But asking questions about how did I go through the process?
Right.
What was my experience like? How do you deal with coaches? How do you deal with teammates? Those questions are real, and any former player should be able to answer that question. It is like a sisterhood.
Right.
So I do get a lot of those questions, and even on the reverse end, let's talk about kids that maybe don't have as many offers or scholarships. You
Right.
know how like devastating when
Right.
that kid just wants
And
it
they waiting on that
they
one,
are
yeah.
waiting, and you gotta be there to pick them up. Like
Right.
even though you don't have an offer, girl, you're good. You got to keep that swag. You got to
Right.
keep that juice. You got to keep going.
Right.
Because it's going to turn around. And sometimes it's hard. You may not hear that because of the pressure of everybody else. When people get offers, guess what? They're posting it.
Yeah.
Here you are on a team. Everybody else is getting offers and you're not.
Right.
You got to keep locked in on who you are in your game. You know how much time you spent in that gym.
Right.
Somebody will see you. That's what makes OGBR's job so important.
Okay.
Because it doesn't matter if you're D1, D4. We got to be ready.
Right.
NAIA, JUCO, we got to be ready to get these kids out there for that opportunity. So yeah, we have some highs and we have some lows. We got to address both.
Right.
An evaluator as well as a great mediator.
Yeah. Like
I like that.
that is good. Let me write that down. Let me write that down.
I like that.
And you do have to mediate though,
there.
really. I mean, kids be on.
Oh man,
And it's
especially
different
today.
now with, like you said, with social media and you got to
That pressure.
navigate, what can you post? What can you put out? That's just not even basketball related.
Yeah.
And how that can get you into trouble, especially when you're being recruited. It has to be a whole new world.
Oh yeah, the anxiety is real.
Wow.
I didn't realize it. I really didn't. I did not until having enough conversations over the past 2-3 years. The anxiety is real.
Wow.
That's the most concerning part for me. Is that my girls can't really enjoy the process because the recruiting. I hated it. My mom cried during our recruiting process. I hated it. It was awful because you do spend so much time investing and things like that. It makes it very hard.
Right.
And then when you're not getting the kind of results you want, how do you process that? Who do you talk to?
Right.
You can talk to mom, but let's say you have best friends and
They already got the offer.
They got
there
the
you go.
offer.
Or you got friends that's not in the game. They
Right.
don't have a clue what you're talking
Right.
about. You know what I mean? It's just like, girl,
Right.
you gonna be fine. You don't know that.
Right. Your grades are good. You still going to
You
school.
an
What you
academic
stressed about?
kid.
Right.
You're gonna get an academic. Like, I don't
Right.
think you understand. Like, it's
Right.
not
Yeah,
that
they don't
simple.
wanna
Right.
do that.
They don't get it.
Right.
So having that sorority, that sisterhood of women's basketball, former players. Maybe there's a kid. I'll connect former players with current players.
Okay.
Because everybody, remember, 24 years, we're talking about everybody that's played college basketball.
Right.
OGBR's connected to.
Right.
So we'll connect players with former players.
That's good.
Just for mentorship, right?
Right.
So, yeah, that anxiety's no joke.
Internet and stuff. How is that playing a role in affecting? Do you see more positive?
Yeah.
Because
I see both. I see
Okay.
the positive side. I do see the positive side because it creates opportunity. Think about it. If we talk about, I'll throw this word out here. Here we go. If we're talking about NLI, say that again. We have people in our game that are actually having opportunities.
Correct.
We didn't have that.
Right.
So
That's true.
internet, social media, website engagement, it plays a role.
Right.
So we have to appreciate that part.
Right.
I think where it gets kind of harsh is when it's an overload. Just want to make sure it's a healthy balance.
Right.
If a kid is like not producing very well, in understanding social media, we gotta keep an eye on that.
Right.
Right. We don't want a kid to lose confidence.
Right. Before we let you go, we do have to talk about one thing.
What we gotta
'cause
talk about?
we got a partnership going on.
Yeah.
So Score on Air on our YouTube channel, we're going to be housing the Classic in the City. It's going to be held in Pickerington Central.
Yep.
January 15th through January 17th.
Yep.
Can you give us some deets, hype up this situation? We're going to be streaming it live. All the college coaches around the country can tune in. What can players expect? What teams we can expect? Matchups expect? Give us the deets.
Listen, this is one of the ones you need a seatbelt for. This is a national event.
Okay.
On a whole nother level. We have some of the top teams in the nation coming. Mount Vernon will be here. IMG will be here from Florida. Louisville Central will be here. Now, you know I'm going to get to my Ohio kids, Ohio teams, but we'll talk
That's
about
right.
Shout out that team from Canada, too.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah. I'm telling you, they loaded. Example Academy out of Chicago, out of Illinois will be here. Louisville Central will be here. Yeah. We bring in some heavy
This the
hitters.
event?
This is the one.
Okay.
This is the one you want to be at. Ohio will compete against these out-of-state teams. We do very well against out-of-state teams. So to see that competition there, of course, the best teams in Ohio will be there. But you got 3 days over MLK weekend to honor not only Dr. Martin Luther King, but other people that have been in the community that have fought for equality and for love and for peace and for so many of those different qualities that OGBR shares. This is a weekend. It's an experience. It's not an event of basketball. It's an
Okay.
experience.
That's good.
From entertainment to just the different colleges that will be there to just appreciating girls basketball and appreciating people that have invested in the game. Mm-hmm. It is truly going to be an experience.
That's what, January 15th through the 17th?
Yep, MLK weekend, absolutely.
Nice. Well, we thank you, Miss Benson.
Appreciate it.
For your wonderful time and your knowledge, and for shedding a light on OGBR and what you do and how you help promote girls today to become women of tomorrow.
Absolutely.
We